Alright, so yesterday we did live stream the new difficulty guild quest, this time the ranged no affiliation guild quest, and usually we would upload our highlights, but since I didn't get time to upload it yesterday, I thought let's just redo the teams, try out some different teams, different characters, combinations, and at the same time try and bring lesser transcended characters so you don't see just me using a max transcended team. For the most part, besides maybe one run, we are essentially only using characters at level 1 out of 5 performance, so essentially level 10 attack and also level 10 SP, which are a few different teams here, so let's just jump straight into it. And for our very first team isn't even a team, we are just using Äs Nödt. Now in this case, we did beat it yesterday on our live stream with special move level 2 out of 5, so level 10 SP and level 10 focus. But I wanted to see if it was possible with him basically performing like a 1 out of 5 character, so this time only level 10 SP. These are the accessories that we are using, these are the links that we are using, and keep in mind the links do have some transcendence invested into them, so if you did try and replicate this team with worse links, it might not be as one-to-one. But when it came to his bonus abilities, we gave him 25% more damage at full stamina and also plus 400 focus. And in this case, it's actually a really good bonus ability since it allows me to get above 1000 focus where I'm now guaranteed criticals on every single hit. And I actually recommend doing that if you are using a 1 out of 5 character, in this case like Äs Nödt for example. Having above 1000 focus is actually really important, and this bonus ability allowed us to actually do that. Alright then, so jumping straight into the run, how does Äs Nödt single-handedly solo guild quest? You might be wondering that. Well, of course, as we all are aware, his damage output is really high. Frenzy +2 with the SP boost, and he also does do 80% more damage to weakened enemies and also slowed enemies. And keep in mind, weakening itself also does allow you to do around 50% more damage. So when we do apply both stat elements, and weakening only lasts around 2 or so seconds, we just do a lot of damage. And one great thing that I liked about Äs Nödt while actually trying to solo this particular run, and it didn't take that many attempts, is his SA1 and of course also SA2. His SA2 not inflicting stat elements in a way does hurt him because it can't inflict the SP boost, but at times I was able to casually use it and not have to worry about inflicting another stat element. Because that can actually mess up the run to a certain extent. If you have the SP boost and there's only one enemy left alive, and then you inflict the stat element before the SP boost wears off, well now you're not going to inflict another stat element and therefore get the SP boost for around 10 or so more seconds. But another great thing is that SA1, it just does a ridiculous amount of damage. It's probably the best strong attack one in this particular case because of how many times it hits and how consistent you can easily make all hits count. If we do inflict a stat element, in this case weakening a slow during that SA1, it's easily doing like 15+ million damage. It was absolutely insane, and that SA1, and ironically, while people make trash on it, was the whole reason why Äs Nödt could even beat this guild quest by himself 1 out of 5 in the first place. That, and also given the fact that he is a mines character, at no point did he have status disadvantage. We were able to single-handedly beat the quest by himself, and I thought that was really cool for a mid-month character. So for those that aren't giving Äs Nödt enough credit here, I mean Äs Nödt right now is one of the few and only characters that can beat guild quests by himself at 1 out of 5. For our next team, I got a lot of questions. Who is better to bring as a leader? Macy, Kaname, or Ichigo? And obviously the answer is Macy, but let's actually try all 3 of them in the same team. They all have 3 tracking vortexes. In this case, Kaname and Macy have a 75 hit vortex, whereas Ichigo has a 100 hit vortex. For those wondering on the build, these are the accessories and links that we are using on Macy. It's just a standard as high as SP as we possibly can give her, and of course also recharge, full stamina, strong attack damage. The same can be said for Kaname, and the same can also be said for Ichigo. I believe the bonus abilities across all 3 is full stamina and also focus. So jumping into our run then, I'll be truthfully honest, this team wasn't as good as I really thought it would be. Using 3 vortex characters, I thought surely at any given point, no one's ever taking damage, right? We're always going to have a vortex active, especially if you, the main character, Macy, plays around their vortex, maybe just waiting to use it for a few seconds, let their vortexes go off, and then use yours. So at any given point, a vortex is always active. I thought it'd be quite easy. It wasn't. It didn't take that many attempts. Maybe it took us like 4 attempts to actually do it, which honestly wasn't even that bad. The main thing is though, is that because you have Kaname and also Ichigo using their SA2s, their vortexes, a lot of times we're applying both drain, weakening, or just drain from Kaname and also Ichigo. And that unfortunately meant that me, as a Macy main, I wasn't able to get my SP boost, and that unfortunately meant that I was doing less damage, and that's one of the main reasons why this team almost didn't actually work, at least for my first 4 or 3 attempts. In this run in particular, we were lucky enough to actually get the SP boost off, and that's why we were able to beat it. So if you are using this team, which does work, I wouldn't recommend it, but it works, attacks. You are still relying on Macy getting the SP boost, but when she does get it, and she gets it more often than not, you are doing a lot of damage, and you should be able to clear it. Again, this team in particular took around 4 or so attempts, which honestly isn't even that bad in the greater schemes of other teams that you can use. But I thought this team was going to be a one and done, but maybe I just got bad RNG. Either way, it's a team that you can actually use, especially if you do lack any normal attack dealing characters that are range no affiliation killers. Speaking of normal attack dealing characters, in this case we're using a more traditional team, using Macy as our main and 2 other normal attack damage dealing characters. So in this case, Macy is going to be our main. These are her accessories, these are her links, again very similar to the run that we just did do. As for Masaki, we're using just the normal golden chappy hollow bait build, and we're using full stamina and recharge links. That way she can keep the boost active at all times, and also make sure that she is doing some type of extra damage, assuming we can take it at full stamina. Now in her case, for her bonus abilities, we did give her attack and also focus, so she can have as much attack and focus as possible, get again those guaranteed criticals. But unfortunately, because I do have her at special move level 5, her 6th transcendent slot is only 250 attack instead of the usual 500. And whenever I try to demonstrate a character at 1 out of 5 performance, despite me already having them 5 out of 5, I remove their transcendent slots. And in this case, by removing her 500 attack level 10 slot, she's now basically performing like a level 5 attack slot because she only has 250 attack instead of the usual 500. So in a way, this is actually worse than a, just 1 out of 5 Masaki. Now, of course, the 200 attack that we do give as a bonus ability does help here, but if you did try and replicate this build with this Masaki, you will have a better Masaki since you should be giving her level 10 attack. And as for Kageroza, same exact builds. In this case, attack and also full stamina. Didn't actually give him focus this time around. Didn't want to change it. But he has a golden chappy hollow bait, and he has a free normal attack damage soul traits. And jumping into the run, it's going to be a very easy run, right? Masaki's there to boost us, to provide the barrier. Even though it's a one-hit barrier for our teammates, it still actually does help at times, right? And for us, we're just going to use our SA2. We're going to stand near the bottom left of the area. This is kind of the safe zone, and it is at points kind of hard to see where the enemies are. But when you're standing in the safe zone, just spam any attack whenever you can get it. And for the most part, since we're basically the only one here that can inflict status ailments, it's very easy to get the SP boost, especially when you do let down your SA2 Vortex. As you can see here, we're already into the 4th boss with like 40 seconds to spare, and that's honestly really impressive. Now in this case, because Masaki is a hard character, I chose and decided to use my Soul on the final boss. And remember, my Macy is 5 out of 5, so my Soul does hit a tad bit harder compared to a 1 out of 5 Macy, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. So much so, I didn't even decide to use my Soul Bomb. I was like, you know what? Let's just get that out of the way, right? Let's not even use our Soul Bomb, which does add a lot more damage since you can apply weakened defense, and that means your entire team does 30% more damage. So if I can beat it with this team with a lesser invested Masaki, using Macy without even using my Soul Bomb, you can easily replicate this team, assuming you have the characters, and easily beat it with even lesser investment. After that, I wanted to try a different team. In this case, we're now using Äs Nödt. Maybe you pulled for him. He was actually a pretty good mid-map character, and I know a lot of people have been wanting to go for Äs Nödt. In this case, again, very similar build to our very first attempt and run with a 1 out of 5 Äs Nödt. We are once more using Masaki. In this case, though, we want her to be our main DPS character. Last time it was Kageroza, and in her case, we gave her recharge and full stamina. But this time, since we want her to do the most of the damage, we're giving her normal attack damage soul traits. And with that in mind, if you wanted her to be your main DPS character, definitely give her 200 attack and 400 focus as bonus abilities. In this case, though, I just didn't bother. It didn't make that much of a difference. It does, but we're beating it anyway, right? And the reason why we can make Masaki our main DPS character is because we are now using Momo. In Momo's case, she is also a team booster, she's immune to freeze, and she also does work quite well with Äs Nödt, since she herself can apply slow, allowing Äs Nödt to do 40% more damage. And in her case, we give her the exact same accessories, but once more, we're giving her recharge and full stamina, so she can stack that SA2 while also doing a respectable amount of damage with her normal attacks if she is at full stamina. And jumping into this run, honestly, even though I said Momo and Äs Nödt do work well together, since again, both of them can apply slow, sometimes it doesn't work in your favor, right? Again, Äs Nödt is a character very similar to other characters with the SP boost, does most of their damage with the SP boost when you inflict the status ailment. And I think this run in particular, we didn't really get the greatest set of luck in. I'm not gonna lie, at times, in this boss in particular, we had to use a lot of strong attacks here just to take Ambassador Seaweed out, and we weren't getting a single SP boost. So keep that in mind when using characters like Äs Nödt. Sometimes you get bad RNG, right? You don't inflict the status ailment, and that can ruin the runs. But I wanted to see how far we could potentially make it with this team anyway, and for the most part, it was going quite well, right? Luckily for Urudu, we did inflict the SP boost. In that case, we were able to go for it relatively quick. Once more, in this case, we're just using our strong attacks. Sometimes you don't want to kill all the mini-mobs, because having them alive when the SP boost wears off increases your chance to inflict the SP boost, right? And that's what you want to do. But in this case, we're going through it again once more very slow. Just very bad RNG in this particular run. Luckily though, since we do have two normal attack dealing characters behind us, they're able to do their damage. And in this case, since the final boss is a hard character, you can make quick work with the final boss, Quincy Ichigo, using Äs Nödt. As we did there, we used our Soul Bomb and the SA1, and that, again, once more, just did a ridiculous amount of damage, right? All we had to do after that was use one more strong attack, and they went down. It was a very close run. It shouldn't have been that close. We just got very unlucky, but I wanted to use that as an example. Even if we do get unlucky, you can still beat the quest with this particular team. And that's essentially all the teams that I wanted to show today. Lesser transcended teams. Some examples of characters you can use to tackle this particular week of Guild Quest. What you're about to see now is a stream highlight from yesterday's stream, where we took a 5 out of 5 Macy, a 5 out of 5 Masaki, and a 2 out of 5 Kageroza, and just got like a really fast play time, and definitely again a team that is worth using, even with lesser transcendence. Hope you guys enjoyed the video though. See you guys next time, take care, and enjoy the rest of the video. Alright. Straight in, SA2. Already inflict the status ailment. We just need these lads to hit him. There we go. Hopefully we can inflict the status ailment on the SA1. Yes, we can. This might be the run, boys. SA2. Can we inflict the status ailment? Yes, we can. Come on, who's left alive? All right. Let's sob him here. Into the 1. Woo! SA2. Into the 3. Not as fast as our first run, unfortunately. We'll take it for now, though. If we get lucky, it's around 40 to 45 seconds. We honestly should have took the first run. I got greedy. We'll take it, though. I don't want to spend too long today on this stream. I'll do my own time to try and best that. But yeah, this is probably the best thing that you can use for this week of Guild Quest. Macy, Masaki, and also Kageroza. We used 2 5/5 characters, but again, transcendence don't matter there. If you have those 3, even 1/5, you should be golden. You should be absolutely golden.